understeer versus oversteer. In Formula One, there's a silent war happening every lap between the front and rear tyres. Understeer happens when the front tyres give up first and the car refuses to turn as sharply as the driver wants. Oversteer is the opposite. The rear steps out and the back of the car tries to pass the front. Both can ruin a lap. Teams spend millions trying to find the perfect balance. Some drivers, like Charles Leclerc, admit they struggle when the car is too understeer heavy. Ferrari's 2023 car was reportedly tuned that way on purpose, to make it more predictable. But it forced Leclerc to change how he drove. Others, like Sebastian Vettel, have said they prefer a bit of oversteer once the tyres are warm. It helps rotate the car through the corner. Too much of either is bad. Understeer makes drivers brake earlier and scrub speed. Oversteer can send them spinning, but a tiny dose of the right one, that's magic. Even 1 point of downforce, just 0.01 in aero, can flip the car's behaviour. In wheel-to-wheel racing, how a car handles these two forces can mean the difference between holding the inside or watching your rival drive off. Downforce versus drag. In Formula One, aerodynamics isn't just about speed, it's survival. Every car is basically a fighter jet flipped upside down. Wings, floors and diffusers are designed to create downforce, the vertical pressure that pins the car to the track. More downforce means better grip and higher cornering speeds. But there's a catch. Downforce creates drag, air resistance that slows you down on the straights. It's always a trade-off. On fast circuits like Monza, teams run low-drag setups with smaller wings. At Monaco, it's full wings, full grip. McLaren's aero chief once put it simply, big wings for slow tracks, slim wings for fast ones. But even with that balance, some teams push the limits. Remember flexi wings or the F-duct? Legal grey zones that gave teams speed until the FIA shut them down. The 2022 rule change cut down force by 30% and drag by over 50%, reintroducing ground effect to help cars follow each other better, because too much aero creates dirty air and ruins close racing. That's why DRS was invented. Every tenth of a second gained in F1 usually starts in the wind tunnel. Whether it's Red Bull's dominance or a midfield surprise, chances are the answer lies in the airflow, tyre strategy and pit stops. Formula One isn't just about who's fastest. It's about who stops at the right time. Pirelli provides all the tyres, from C1 to C6. At each race, they pick 3, hard, white, medium, yellow, and soft, red. Softer tyres are grippy but wear out fast. Harder ones last longer but cost lap time. By rule, drivers have to use at least 2 different compounds in a dry race, so managing tyre life becomes a chess match at 200 miles per hour. Pit stops take about 20 to 25 seconds. That's where strategy kicks in. Go too early and you risk running out of grip late. Wait too long and your rivals might undercut you, pitting first and using fresher tyres to jump ahead. The overcut flips the script. Stay out longer. Pray the guy ahead hits traffic. Before 2010, fuel strategy mixed things up too. Now, it's all about tyre timing. In 2019, Red Bull's 1.82 second stop set a benchmark. In 2023, Verstappen won Hungary by nailing a stop during a virtual safety car. Sometimes, tyre choices are controversial. Teams accuse each other of sandbagging in practice or bluffing in qualifying, but the truth is, strategy can win races that raw speed can't. Energy recovery systems. Since 2009, Formula One cars have been part race car, part science experiment. It started with KERS, Kinetic Energy Recovery System. When a driver hit the brakes, energy that would have been wasted as heat was captured and stored in a battery or flywheel. Drivers could tap a button to get a short power burst, about 80 horsepower for 6 seconds. It was like a turbo boost in a video game. Then came the 2014 hybrid era. KERS evolved into ERS, Energy Recovery System. Now there were two key units, MGUK, which still harvested braking energy, and MGUH, which recovered heat from the turbo. The MGUH could spin the turbo to eliminate lag or charge the battery. Together, they added up to 160 extra horsepower, on top of the engine's 600. Managing this hybrid power became a strategy in itself. Save energy in one lap, attack in the next. Some drivers timed their ERS deployment for a final lap overtake. Others used it to defend. Teams even adjusted engine maps mid-race to sneak around ERS limits, triggering FIA investigations. By 2026, the MGU-H will be scrapped to simplify things. But for now, ERS isn't just tech. It's the hidden weapon in every F1 overtake. Team orders. In Formula One, not every overtake is earned, and not every win is pure racing. Team orders are when a team tells a driver to let their teammate pass or to hold position. It's legal now, but it wasn't always. And even when it is, fans hate it. The most infamous moment? Austria 2002. Rubens Barrichello was leading, but Ferrari told him to let Michael Schumacher through. Barrichello slowed just before the line. The crowd booed. The FIA fined Ferrari and temporarily banned team orders, though teams just got sneakier. Remember, Fernando is faster than you? Everyone knew what that meant. Since 2011, team orders have been legal again. The argument? F1 is a team sport, and maximising constructor or driver points can mean telling one guy to step aside. Still, drivers don't always obey. In 2013, Vettel ignored Red Bull's multi-21 order and passed Webber anyway. His excuse? I'm not a mechanic. Behind the scenes, team orders often decide who wins, who gets podiums, and who takes the title. The results might look clean, but sometimes they're orchestrated. Fans call it rigging. Teams call it strategy. Either way, it's one of the sport's most controversial and unavoidable realities. Ferrari International Assistance, FIA. In Formula One circles, some fans don't call the FIA the governing body. They call it Ferrari International Assistance. It's a running joke, except some people aren't really joking. The theory? That the FIA favours Ferrari, the sport's oldest and most iconic team. And every time the stewards make a suspicious call, the meme resurfaces. The biggest fuel to the fire came in 2020. After investigating Ferrari's 2019 engine for months, the FIA suddenly announced a secret settlement. No penalties, no explanation. Rival teams were furious. Race fans reported fans reviving the FIA equals Ferrari joke across social media. The rumour? Ferrari had been using a trick to bypass fuel flow limits, and the FIA didn't want a legal war, so they quietly rewrote the rules. FIA officials deny any bias. They've penalised Ferrari before and claimed the engine trick was clever, not illegal. But secrecy only added fuel to the theory. Critics argue every big team gets favours. Others say Ferrari's historical power, plus former FIA bosses with Ferrari ties, makes things look shady even when they're not. No proof, no punishment. But the idea that Ferrari has special protection? It's one of F1's most enduring conspiracy theories. Crashgate, Renault 2008 Singapore scandal. This wasn't just a theory, it was real. In 2008, Renault asked their own driver to crash on purpose, and it worked. During the Singapore Grand Prix, Nelson Piquet Jr. slammed into a wall on lap 14. It triggered a safety car. His teammate Fernando Alonso had just pitted, and the chaos helped him win the race. At the time, it seemed lucky. A year later, it exploded into one of Formula One's biggest scandals. After being dropped by Renault, Piquet Jr. tipped off investigators. He claimed team boss Flavio Briatore and engineer Pat Simons told him to crash. the FIA investigated and confirmed it. They called it misconduct of unparalleled severity. Briatore got a lifetime ban, later overturned, Simons got 5 years, and Renault received a suspended 2-year ban. Alonso kept the win. It wasn't rumour, it was proven, and it changed everything. Felipe Massa, who could have won that day, saw his strategy ruined. Hamilton barely escaped trouble. Suddenly, safety cars didn't just feel random, they felt weaponised. After Crashgate, the FIA tightened rules and ethics codes. But the damage was done. For many fans, it's the moment they realised a Grand Prix can be rigged, not in theory, but by design. Spygate, Ferrari-McLaren 2007. In 2007, Formula One got its own Cold War. McLaren's chief designer, Mike Coughlin, received 780 pages of confidential Ferrari documents, blueprints, specs, the whole playbook. The leak came from Nigel Stepney, a disgruntled Ferrari engineer. The whole thing unravelled when Coughlin's wife took the documents to a copy shop, and the store owner, who happened to be a Ferrari fan, snitched. At first, McLaren claimed they never used the info, but the FIA wasn't buying it. In a second hearing, they ruled McLaren had knowingly held stolen data. The punishment? A record $100 million fine and total disqualification from the 2007 Constructors' Championship. Lewis Hamilton and Fernando Alonso kept their driver points, but the team got 0. Ron Dennis called the penalty excessive. Fans wondered if the harsh ruling was meant to protect Ferrari's pride. Meanwhile, Stepney was convicted in Italy for espionage and attempted sabotage. Spygate changed everything. It reminded teams that stealing secrets could cost more than trophies. It could wreck reputations. The scandal also exposed McLaren's internal rift, which damaged their title fight. Since then, data protection in F1 has been locked down like state secrets. In F1, even off track, the race never stops. Sabotage allegations. Andretti's 1993 McLaren. Michael Andretti's lone Formula One season with McLaren was a disaster, and for decades, some fans and even insiders have whispered, was it sabotage? In 1993, Andretti joined McLaren for 13 races alongside Ayrton Senna. But instead of thriving, he crashed out repeatedly, scored just 3 points, and was dropped. His father, F1 champion Mario Andretti, said years later that something didn't sit right. The theory? That McLaren, or someone behind the scenes, intentionally gave Michael inferior equipment. Rumours spread that his Monza practice car had brake issues or a sabotaged wing. Nothing was ever proven, but the suspicions stuck. Others say the truth is simpler. McLaren had just lost Honda power and were scrambling with Ford engines. Andretti had barely 1.5 days of testing. F1's active suspension cars were wildly different from anything in IndyCar, and practice time was limited. Even Ron Dennis praised Andretti's commitment, saying the situation was just tough all around. Still, the sabotage theory lingers. Andretti never got another F1 shot, and fans debate whether he was set up to fail. Maybe it was just bad luck, maybe not. But in F1, when talent flops, people always wonder, was it the car or the politics? Undeniably, F1 is full of speed, drama and strategy. But behind the scenes, it's the theories that really fuel the fanbase. So, is there a wild F1 theory we missed? Drop it in the comments. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for more amazing videos like this one.